Hey everyone, it's Nathan, and welcome to Hale. So it's that time for yet another year in review for the Decade in Review series. This year is a really interesting one. We're reviewing 2016, and this year for me was very interesting because I actually didn't see one movie in the movie theater. Why, you ask? Because I was serving a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and part of your commitment as a missionary is you give up movies and any sort of media for 2 years. And so in my case, every movie that I talk about on this list, I actually did not see in 2016. I got home from my mission in 2017, and between August 2017 and this date of filming this video, I watched all these movies. And so yeah, it's a little different than some years. But before I get started, let's go over the basics. If you see any R-rated films on this list, I watched them filtered through either VidAngel, ClearPlay, TV, something like that. It's just the way I prefer to watch R-rated films. Also, if you're a new subscriber, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification as well so you can be notified when I make other year in review videos and ranking videos like this. Here are some honorable mentions to my top 10. Zootopia, Kubo and the Two Strings, Silence, Hacksaw Ridge, and Edge of 17. Starting off the list at number 10 is A Monster Calls. It's a movie that's been on my watch list for a long time. Ever since I got home from my mission, I've been fascinated and intrigued by this movie. The movie poster especially really intrigues me. I originally thought it was a horror film, but it's definitely not. The first 20 or so minutes of the movie, I was worried that it would just be another BFG 2.0. If you weren't aware, I tried to watch BFG and I couldn't even get through it. I just had to turn it off. So I was scared that A Monster Calls would be exactly like that. But thank goodness it wasn't. This is a beautiful story that I recommend you guys all watch. Once you get past about the 25-minute mark and start caring for this main character, this little boy, it changes and you're just hooked to the story and to this kid's life. And also, the actor who played this boy, I'm not sure of his name off the top of my head, he did a great job. His performance was amazing. Number 9 is Lion. I owe Lion some credit because it is one of 8 movies in my life to make me cry. The ending got me. And there were also some ways that I just felt like I could relate to the ending. In details I won't go into, but it just meant a lot to me, the ending of this movie. The movie's a little slow, but it's rewarding by the time you get to the end. Number 8 goes to Captain America: Civil War. Civil War is a movie that I definitely have problems with, but I can't deny that I love the action in this movie, and I just love seeing all the superheroes on the screen together. I feel like this is like the most talked about movie on my channel. I feel like I always talk about it, but I'll just go ahead and say the same things I always say. I love Spider-Man being added into the MCU. I love the airport scene, although it's really cheesy, but really Spider-Man, he's the strongest point for this movie in my opinion. Next up, I've got Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. This was a movie that I didn't like originally. I wasn't invested in the characters, and the way it ends, it didn't move me at all, yet it probably should have. But I watched it again in preparation for The Last Jedi, so even now it's been a little bit since I've seen it. I really liked it more on my second watch, and I find that this movie is a lot more enjoyable if you watch A New Hope immediately afterwards. Number 6 goes to The Nice Guys. It stars Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, a duo that I wasn't aware I needed. These are 2 actors that I already just really like watching. And so to see them in a comedy buddy cop mystery movie together was so satisfying. Ryan Gosling plays probably the funniest character of 2016. Some of the things he does in this movie are just so laugh out loud and a little idiotic, but it's just immensely entertaining. Russell Crowe's character is also entertaining. Just the whole movie was so funny. It's probably the funniest movie I saw in 2016. And number 5 goes to The Salesman, directed by Asghar Farhadi. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I've been very impressed by all the films I've seen from him so far, and so when I saw that he had released a movie for 2016, of course I wanted to watch it. Now, this movie won Best Foreign Language Film at the Oscars for this year, and it deserved it. I mean, that's probably a little unfair for me to say because I haven't seen any other foreign language films from this year, but I really like this movie. Basically, a husband and wife, they move into a new apartment, and one night while the wife is showering, a man comes into the apartment and attacks her, but she doesn't see who did it. They start to find out that it has to do with the previous tenant who used to live there, and the whole movie is about this husband trying to find out who attacked his wife, and they're trying to just get to the bottom of this. The plot is pretty intense, but at the same time, it's nothing too complex. It's a pretty simple plot. Asghar Farhadi, he has a way with his movies where when I'm watching his films, I'm just I'm glued to the screen. I love what I'm watching and I care about the characters so much. And the performances in this movie are outstanding. That's another thing that Asghar Farhadi films can pride themselves on. All the actors always give such great performances. I highly recommend this movie. Number 4 is the Disney movie that made this top 10, and that is Moana. What can I say? I like Moana more than Zootopia. They're generally compared because they both came out in 2016, but for me, Moana is on the same level as some of Disney's Renaissance films from the 90s. I love the music. I love the characters. The animation is beautiful, of course. And it's basically everything that you would want from a classic Disney movie. Moana has it all. And honestly, I don't need to say anything more than that. It's just a great movie. And number 3 goes to Arrival. Reminder, it came out on my mission, so I watched it when I got home because I had heard a lot of good things about it. I knew that it was an Oscar-nominated film, so I wanted to watch it. And as I was watching it, I was thinking, this movie's fine. I don't really get why it was nominated for Oscars or why people love it so much. And then the ending happened, and everything made sense, and I realized what an amazing movie this is. And then I rewatched it in preparation for this video, and I loved it even more the second time. There are some movies out there that when you watch them, they just feel different than any other movies that you have seen. I would say Arrival is one of those movies where when I'm watching it, I know that I'm in store for something different. It's not gonna be a casual movie viewing. It's gonna be something else. Arrival is a beautiful yet sad story. I loved it, and I am still amazed with just where the story took me. Number 2 goes to 10 Cloverfield Lane. Do any of you have those movies where you know it's not a perfect film by any means? Maybe it doesn't even get recognized by movie awards ceremonies, but it's just a movie that you can rewatch basically anytime. You love it just because for whatever reason you've built that bond with it. I'm treating this movie like it's a person or something. That's how 10 Cloverfield Lane is for me. It's one of those movies that I've seen multiple times. I've seen it a lot of times, and I still love it every single time I rewatch it. John Goodman gives the best performance of his career. And number 1 is super obvious. It goes to La La Land. Come on, this is obvious. I have a freaking poster of it behind me. I've talked far too many times about how much I love La La Land, so I'm going to save you guys the time. If you want to know more about why I love it, just watch some of my other videos. It's pretty obvious. It's just a beautiful film, and it's definitely my favorite film of the year. Now let's look at the year in review. If I were to assign a sentence to this year, it would probably be the year of Gosling. Because not only was Ryan Gosling in my favorite movie of the year, but he was also in the funniest movie of the year for me. So I saw a total of 51 films in 2016. If I were to average out the movie ratings I gave for this year, the average rating for the year 2016 is a 7.08 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a cinematastic day.